I like to make things out of wood. My issue being that wood is expensive. It's hard to come by and difficult to transport the long distances that the lumberyards tend to be. Not that I've ever been to one of those. So one must pick up scraps. Picking through litter and household goods has become a pretty common habit of mine. I was on a hunt for scrap wood last year, whereby a local church I spotted some fly tipping in the car park with some pieces that enticed me. I was particularly excited because the contents of the pile was old furniture. The wretched remains of kitchen fittings as indicated by the mugs and plates. I would hope for good quality hardwoods, but it doesn't generally mean that. New kitchens, where laminates and composites are ubiquitous, tend to be the most dumped. Though in this case it did mean good quality hardwoods. It was an old kitchen. Not ancient, but old enough to have solid wood. I picked through and I walked the trip back to my flat with arms full of drawer fronts and big plywood panels with exotic veneers. Only on the second to last trip did I discover a framed print. The glass missing and the picture itself had succumbed to the frost, but the frame was nice and it shouldn't be wasted. Besides that first print, I thought I'd found a second, but it seemed too fine to be a low quality print like the other one. So I looked closer and found that it was a real watercolour and had survived the damp environment, save for a shoe print from standing on it earlier. So of course, I did what I knew I'd have to. I picked it up and I put it in my bag and I tried to preserve what remained of this painting. Beneath that, however, as I picked it up, I discovered a sketchbook's worth of paintings, presumably from the same person. And beneath that, another pile of papers. It's not uncommon to come across furniture, kitchen fittings. Poor quality building work tends to result in poorly disposed waste. And it's all thoughtless and it's all a bit grim in a way. You don't usually see the sorts of papers that were in that pile. In that pile were bank statements, letters, cards, personal documents, important documents. I did what I thought would be best and I took everything with identifying information to the nearest bin, except a couple of papers that I thought seemed interesting. After looking up the name and address on the papers, I found an online obituary record for someone that matched in name and location. She died in 2022, allegedly in her home with her family after a short illness. The papers I did read indicated that she worked for the NHS, perhaps as a counsellor. It's unclear whether these booklets were kept for her benefit or for the benefit of her patients. It feels voyeuristic to speculate so crudely on the life of someone so close in distance and in time. I could even contact the church where the service was held. But maybe I don't want to know more than this fragment of records and loans and pension payments. I think it could be upsetting to know the reality, perhaps the household, the kitchen that these mugs, these papers, these plates lived in. I wonder if people knew that she painted, or she kept these to herself, maybe. Who threw them away? Who dumped them? Surely no family member. Nobody like that would be so irresponsible to leave so many identifying documents. The question is, how does this part of a life end up outside of a church? How could one be so careless as to bury her in an open grave just meters from the graveyard? I was abhorred to discover this pile contained the life of, and I hope she finds peace, despite being disinterred, despite being unearthed.